Hey Colin, how are you?
Very good, thanks,
Now
Steve.
you and I did a video a while ago on how to get started on LinkedIn for real estate agents. I think we had 5 steps.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
I'd like to spend a bit of time talking about using LinkedIn for real estate agents that are competent with that tool. And I particularly want to chat about how you prospect using LinkedIn.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I would argue that is the absolute magic of LinkedIn. So just like how you might use Google to find websites today, or everybody does,
Yeah.
LinkedIn is how you find humans. And so moving away from this kind of mass marketing approach into this one-to-one targeting. So specifically on LinkedIn, up the top, there's actually a search bar.
Yeah.
And so you can actually type in. So if you work out of Brisbane, for example, and you're looking for high net worth people who might be looking to buy that luxury home or that family home, the average income on LinkedIn is $109,000 in Australia.
Yep.
You can actually just type in CEO and click on Brisbane, and it'll actually just show up the 1,826 CEOs that live in Brisbane. You can actually continue to filter that and say just CEOs of companies that are bigger than 100 people. And you might get a beautiful set of 200 people that you can look at, interact with, and engage with, which could be a great market who you might be looking to sell homes to or list homes for.
Yeah, okay, so that's great. What if I just operate in the western suburbs of Brisbane and I'm only interested in a dozen postcodes? How does that work?
Yeah, so you can absolutely go right down to postcode or choose a region and choose a radius. So it's very particular. And I suppose the smaller you go, right down to a suburb is the smallest level. It limits your net quite a bit. But yeah, you have that choice. And so it's really targeted. So many agents own a territory or run a territory. They can target exactly on that.
Okay, so walk me through it. So I'm an agent, I operate in 4070 and I'm interested in making connections with CEOs because my assumption is that they earn good money, yeah? So what happens?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd go and search on that postcode of 4070, and whether it is chief executive officers or you might target IT professionals or whoever it might be, I would go and find them. And so let's say we've built a list on LinkedIn of just 100 of these. So I can see names, faces, details, experience, and who live in that area or work in that area. And with that specific group, so step 1 is to identify them. Step 2 is I would absolutely research them, so get to know them a little bit. Number 3 is definitely just connect with them. I would hit that connect button. I would add a little note and say, hi Cherie, I noticed you're doing this role at this organisation. I noticed we're both connected to these people. It'd be great to connect on LinkedIn. Regards, Steve. So I would be really personalised, direct, and take that one-to-one approach because these people are doing a lot of things, they're busy, you need to stand out.
So how do I know who Cherie's connected with? I'm connected with as well. How do I know there's a commonality there?
So first of all, when you're doing that research on Cherie, you'll see that you're a second degree connection is one thing. So that's how first of all, you know that you've got mutual connections. Second of all, just about 3/4 of the way down the page, it'll actually say mutual connection. So you've got 4 mutual connections. So just have a look at them and see exactly who they are and their names. Absolutely. So yeah, just like how you'd refer a friend or say, I know this person, same concept on LinkedIn.
Okay, so just explain to me about second connection and first connection.
Yeah, so LinkedIn used the exact concept of 6 degrees of separation. So you and I would be first degree connections. Second degree is a friend that you've got. So a friend of a friend is my relationship. And then third and fourth on LinkedIn.
Right, and so real estate agents that are still door knocking, I mean, clearly that traditional way of prospecting still has a play. Are we thinking here that this tool on LinkedIn just complements that? It's the digital door knock, would that be a fair one?
Look, I think that's a great comment. And so look, 2 parts to that answer. Number 1 is I would never be romantic about a marketing channel. So I would just use whatever works best. So if I was in an area, potentially regional areas that door knocking may work well, and it works, I'd keep doing it. But the reality is the digital door knock is getting much better results today. And for 2 big reasons. Number 1 is instead of just knocking on a door coldly, I know nothing about who's home, who's there, what they do, with positions, that kind of thing. Whereas on LinkedIn, I have this full ability to research them, know their name, know their connections. And number 2, I've got this quite passive way of communicating with them. So sending them a nice message or a connection request, or we'll talk about content shortly, versus it's quite aggressive to knock on someone's door and
exactly.
demand their attention.
Yeah.
So a couple of big differences.
So if I want to connect with Cherie, LinkedIn give me a suggested script. You're suggesting ignore that, make it personal.
Absolutely. So if you're going for these high net worth people, just like if you walked up to someone at an event, you'd do them the respect of probably knowing something about them and talking about them, and you wouldn't just get up in their face and say, "Here's a business card, call me."
Makes sense. No, that's good. Now, obviously, database and having good quality database is without question the future. You're explaining to me that you can use your connections on LinkedIn really efficiently with your own database. Can you just explain how that works?
So LinkedIn's got a built-in function where you can actually go and download all of your connections, so just people who are your first degree connections. And so just in your privacy and settings, you can go into download LinkedIn archive, and it'll take up to 60 minutes, and you'll actually get an Excel sheet with first name, last name, email address, company and position.
Wow.
So it's really valuable. So once you've got that connection, and then so if you've got 1,000 first degree connections, and you've got a lot more than that, Steve, but you'll get that Excel sheet. And each of these people you now have, and so you could elect to add these to your database.
Yep.
One thing I'd be really conscious of is that yes, you can one-to-one communicate with them. Doing mass email to them is going to get you in trouble. So I'd really look to offer them, ask them if they'd like to opt in or register to your email list, or utilise that one-to-one connection to communicate with them.
Yeah, no, that's good. And the last thing I want to talk about is content. So how come some posts get very, very little feedback, impact and engagement, and some posts just goes off the planet, and your engagement and levels are just so rich? What's going on there, Colin?
Look, I absolutely love this question. This is probably my favourite. And look, a lot of people around the world are paid a lot of money to work out what makes viral content. And so look, I spent a lot of time on this. So in my mind, the recipe is these few things. So number one, it must be authentic, transparent and real to you. So personal. That is absolutely number one. Number two is I would absolutely be looking at anything that educates, assists, talks about trends, talks about the future, and actually helps people. So versus many posts out there are quite salesy or promotional or trying to flog things.
Yeah, like I've just listed 3 Smith Street. I mean, seriously, how dull, with respect.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what people are looking for in amazing real estate agents is what's going to happen in the market the next few years, what's going to happen in capital growth, what's going to happen in drone photography, what's the future of real estate going to be, what infrastructure is coming to 4070 in Brisbane, this kind of thing. So being that expert in your area or zone, and if I could just reframe this one way, and probably my favourite way of setting this up is whatever room you're sitting in right now, or if you're sitting in the beautiful outdoors, imagine there's 100 humans lined up, ready to talk to you. These people are your absolute bread and butter, your perfect clients. How tall are they? How old are they? What jobs are they doing? What are they wearing? What are they reading? How many kids do they have? What pets do they have? Definitely where do they live? What kind of income might they be on? So really think about those 100 people and what do they want to hear from you? Not what you want to tell them. What are they interested in? What questions do they ask when they see you? So that's how I'd really frame it.
That's a really good point. So I mean, what you're saying is before you make a post, don't think, what do I want to post? Think, what do they want to read?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great. Hey, Cole, that's great tips for the real estate agent industry. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, absolute pleasure. Thanks, Steve.
Right.